Thanks a lot. Thank you, Agent K. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here. Okay, you know how you're on an airplane and the flight attendant asks you to turn your cell phone off? And you're like, I ain't turning my cell phone off. That don't have nothing to do with no damn airplane. Well, this is what we get.
Yep, that's basically how it works, guys.
What did I miss?
Nothing. Welcome.
Start of season 3 tonight.
Start of season 3. That's right, guys.
Opening night.
The MLG Pro League is back for season 3, and we're starting fresh. For those of you who didn't see the blinky thing from Will Smith, here's some words. Yeah, the blinky thing.
It's the neurotransmitter
Obviously,
of forgetfulness.
You guys all look like you're from Men in Black. I like this.
We should have come in shades, man. Like, now I forgot what happened. I don't know what's going on.
I know what's coming next, though. Here's what the league said after some issues in the start, before the fresh start. They said, for the past few weeks, teams in Season 3 Call of Duty Pro League have had some connectivity issues, which have compromised the field of play and put results into question. After conferring with the teams, we will be moving forward with the following course of action. Results so far will be wiped, and all teams will restart the regular season 0-0. Each team will now play 11 regular season matches, one against each team, and all 12 teams will be invited to the Season 3 Championship at the MLG Arena with regular season standings used for seeding. Championship format details will be released at a later date. Almost got through the whole thing. But really, guys, what happened is, too many issues. The records were getting sloppy. We talked to all the teams, decided to throw out everything in the past. Let's start fresh. Just 11 matches per squad against everyone else in the league. That's going to determine the seeding heading into season.
It was the right move.
Everyone gets invited, too.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it was the right move. I mean, you needed to do that. And I think it's the best course of action, so.
And it's huge for some teams that were at the bottom. One of them is going to be playing tonight. Let's take a look at our squads kicking off Season 3 once again. We're going to see Denial eSports, Epsilon NA, Isolation, and Optic Nation all in action tonight. Denial was near the top of the standings. Very impressive squad so far. Epsilon, on the other hand, had a lot of issues after securing their spot with Isolation through the relegation tournament. Both teams went on a bit of a losing streak, but Epsilon NA, we talked about it earlier, replacing Swanee with Parasite, looking for a bit of revenge with a fresh start. Optic Nation looking to hold on to a top 8 finish.
I mean,
maybe
they've guaranteed themselves at the finals for the first time at NAW, so good on them.
Nice.
Now the question is, can they continue where they started? You know, they would look very good.
I think Epsilon NA, I mean, they got to feel great, right? I mean, their flights were booked for the relegation tournament. Now they get to cancel those. They get to go to playoffs.
They're good to go, my friends. Let's take a look at some of these squads, starting with Denial eSports. Matt, talk to me a little bit about this squad. Where do you rank them kind of overall amongst all of the professional Call of Duty teams in Advanced Warfare?
They're like 3-4. So yeah, Optic Gaming and FaZe battling it out for that #1 spot. I would probably say FaZe at this point. They're kind of like solidified that. Then I would say Denial is like right behind them. Like I think like Denial, Envy. Like I thought Envy was really good at Gfinity 100K. They just kind of fell short a little bit, got a tough bracket. I think this Denial team though, once we see them on LAN again, they're going to be tough to deal with. I mean, Hook, so good. We see stats right there. And then Temp, can't forget about Temp. And Slasher's been really underrated as well this season.
And this, of course, is some UMG Dallas stats from Hook. So that's on LAN, what the man can do. Some notable wins against other Pro League teams. 3-0'd Epsilon NA at Dallas in the semifinals. 3-1 versus Isolation. And they beat TK in group play as well with the 3-0. So,
I mean, they've got to feel good. They played both Epsilon and ISO this evening. No, and last time they played on LAN, they kind of 3-0, 3-1 them. So they're going to be pretty happy with the first game of the Pro League Season 3.
Pretty solid night from our top-ranked team here that is playing on day 1. Let's take a look at a bottom-ranked squad, though. Epsilon NA, they have a fresh record, but everyone's still a bad taste in their mouth from what we've seen in their recent online matches. So far, though, we look at the new addition. It's Parasite, a 1.13 KD, almost 33 kills in every respawn per 10 minutes, and his search and destroy game, arguably the best part about this guy.
No, it's never been a question of talent or skill with Parasite. It's just kind of been like how, you know, his personality clashes with others on the team, but I think this is a great fit like we touched on earlier. You see the stats. I mean, he has all the stats to back it up. The beginning AW, we talked about maybe one of the best S&D players in the game, still extremely strong in that game mode, and he brings it in respawn as well.
And you see the hardpoint record at the top there. Just want to clarify. Those are from recent online matches with the full lineup. I think they went 3-0, but that was with Kenny in the mix instead of Royalty, one of their official starters. Overall, though, Parasite going to be enough for Epsilon to get some wins tonight, Ben?
I mean, I kind of doubted them previously. I feel like I got to give them some love. I think maybe they can be able to pick up a couple of maps. I mean, there's some notable wins. Obviously, Epsilon 3-1 OG. Different squad, though. Bear that in mind. That was when they had Swanee online. You look at Swanee versus Parasite online. Parasite definitely looks to be the better play. However, at LAN, you tell me this squad could 3-1 OG? Not too sure. 3-0 as well versus TCM at Dallas pool play.
They had a nice run there in Dallas to a top 6 finish. Moving on, though, let's keep it going here with Isolation eSports. Llama God is back in the action, but the player to watch, we always love putting the screen on Havoc, especially in S&D.
Yeah, he's come up with some crazy plays, right? The 1v3 at relegation, just unbelievable. And this is a team that I think a fresh start is great for them, right? You know, they were kind of missing Llama God, who now comes back. He's able to jump right back into the lineup. And this is the ISO that we saw at relegation was so strong.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, one thing which blows my mind is they got outslayed but won 25%. Was that ratio. 3rd in the league. Like, to be able to consistently kind of do that.
Yeah, and their hard points, they get outslayed, and yet they're still able to win one out of 4 that they get outslayed in.
Like, that's ridiculous.
That means you're playing the game the right way.
Yeah.
Their hard point record,
isn't as consistent as it could be.
I think, is what makes or breaks this team. They're awful at uplink. I'll just go out and say it.
Yeah, we've seen
Isolation
this team get 20
eSports is terrible at uplink. But if they can steal those hard points, they definitely have the firepower in search to take you out. Look for the sniper from Silly to kind of be the difference maker. That's what I've seen in some of their recent games. Lacefield, also one of the best substitutes, is on their bench. At any time, he could be called up into the starting roster.
And you might actually see him. Nope. Llama God coming back, probably has some rust. We take a look at their notable wins. Nope. 3-1 and 3-0 win versus Epsilon NA. That was Season 3 relegation. And then a 3-1 win versus TK at UMG Dallas during pool play.
So they've had some wins. Not the most consistent squad, but Isolation eSports, always a team that threatens. I think always a squad to look out for. Optic Nation, I would describe almost the same way. You never know what you're going to get out of Optic Nation, but recently they have been on the up and up since adding this man. Moch went off at Gfinity, helped secure his personal highest placing in his career with 3rd. Also helping, Miracles, Embos, and Ricky get another top 3 finish over in the UK. 4-1 record in their recent online matches with their starting lineup, the score difference of 4.2, and their team KD surprisingly above a 1.0. I think we always looked at this Optic Nation squad, especially back with Kill on the lineup, when we never knew could they slay and keep up with their opponents. I think since adding the Battle of Moch, they've been able to do that pretty consistently. I mean, he's got some of the best KDs.
Look at the difference, though. Like, the team KD average is a 1.09. Moch himself is putting up a 1.22. He's so above that curve of what the rest of the team is doing. Like, his battle play has been T1. Then you add the fact that Miracles can actually use Moch as a far battle player as opposed to Killer when there was that big confusion, who's going to be doing what. Miracles now as SMG can be like, oh, well, I know Moch has opened up those lanes for me. Let me just push in.
We can take a look at their notable wins. It's a 3-2 win versus TCM during Gfinity pool play, and then a 3-1 win versus Infuse in the Gfinity 3rd/4th match. Chris, I don't know about you, I was extremely impressed with Miracles at Gfinity 100K. He was really the story for ON. I mean, he is just so good. I feel like since Black Ops 2, he's been incredibly underrated. Like, he was a great player in Ghost, he's been a great player in AW, but just sometimes, like, the team thing hasn't really worked out.
The scary part for me with Optic Nation is they went 3-2 against TCM. Another Pro League squad that's been up and down, and honestly, Nation at times just simply struggled. They really excelled in their uplink game against TCM, and they were able to close out strong that 5th and final search and destroy game in this series. But at times, it's like, oh, this is going to be 3-1 TCM. Optic Nation's going to be out of this tournament. They got the win. They were able to move on. But I'm never always ready to put 100% on ON.
Bear in mind, TCM plays 5th at UMG. So, like, at LAN, that team was good.
TCM's got a bunch of problems.
They were not so good.
TCM's got a bunch of problems.
I'm not saying they're good.
Struggle bus.
Yeah, no, they're a team that's.
I think they put 70 points on the board on Biolab.
It's impressive.
Yeah, no, they're a team in
78,
turmoil.
Close to triple digits.
Yeah. Anyway, good matches tonight. To be honest, I feel we have 3 teams that are unproven. We don't know where exactly they're going to finish. All of them capable of finishing top 8. I'd say Optic Nation capable of potentially sneaking into top 5, if not top 4.
Nation's capable of pushing the top 4.
But really, you're looking at Denial as to be the main dominant squad in our matchups this evening. Let's take a look at the schedule for tonight. Our first match is going to be Denial eSports facing off against Epsilon. We'll be watching that here on stream while Isolation takes on Optic Nation. Fellas, talk to me a little bit about this first round of matches here at 6 o'clock.
I don't expect Denial to start off any slower than they kind of finished when the pause halfway through the season was. I mean, this Denial squad is very, very good. I don't think Epsilon can hang with Denial. ISO versus ON, though, that's an interesting one. I think that one's going to be pretty close. Still, however, I have to favor ON.
The only thing that's interesting about that first matchup, Denial versus Epsilon NA, is that Denial hasn't played with their full roster in a while. Right, Replays and Slasher, they go over to Gfinity 100K.
Right.
Then they come back. There's no Pro League matches. Now, haven't really seen them, looking for scrimming that much on Twitter. I don't know if you guys may know better than me.
You're right.
But I feel like this is a Epsilon NA team that over the last 3-4 days has gotten a lot of teamwork and chemistry built up. That maybe they're able to make that an interesting series versus Denial. I still expect Denial to take it. The Isolation Optic Nation one, I expect Optic Nation to kind of take that one.
If Epsilon steals the first hardpoint from Denial, it's going to be a good series. Otherwise, I see a 3-0. Maybe they get forced to a second hardpoint there or a game 4, but I think Denial should be able to close that out. Isolation playing with Llama God. Haven't really seen him since the relegation tournament. Went on about a month-long vacation. He's back in the action as a starter. But look at these 7:30 matches, because this is where it really gets interesting for me. Optic Nation versus Epsilon and Denial versus ISO. Are these both 3-0s, or do you see Optic Nation potentially struggling?
I think Denial versus ISO is 3-0. I think Denial just kind of runs through them. I think ON Epsilon has potential to be close. I'd like to see how Epsilon plays in that first match, because this is what's interesting about the new schedule, right? As they play those 3 matches in a night. If Denial blows out Epsilon in that first match, do you have any confidence that they're going to be able to pull it together mentally to win that second match?
Not at all.
Not really.
Good point.
I'm looking at Optic Nation and Epsilon, and we got a key player matchup here for this battle. I really think it's going to be exciting to see how Miracles matches up against Silly. Miracles right now a 1.12 kind of in his recent land stats. You see him putting up about 34 kills, and his uplink game, he's not always putting in the most, but he's definitely helping slay the way for Embos and Ricky. On the other side, Silly has been a pretty impressive player in his own right for Isolation eSports. Doesn't always finish on top of the leaderboard putting up the 1.0s or higher, but he does a lot of the dirty work, I feel like, kind of Nagafen-like in-game.
Yeah, I mean, Silly's kind of a player that you could fill him into any role. And he'll just kind of get that work done. I mean, no brawl KD, 0.94, Slayer rating, 33.74, uplink KD, a 1.10. So does a nice job in uplink, even though that's ISO's weakest game mode. I think Miracles, though.
Congrats, you're doing really well in the game mode. Yeah. We get absolutely blown out.
You were talking about were from the Gfinity 100K. Really crushed at that event. Going to see if he can build on that as the Season 3 gets a fresh start.
Nation versus ISO here. Where are you going, Ben? Where's your brain?
This is one where I was kind of like, I want to say ON, just because I think you look at what Moch has done for the squad. Miracles now being able to play a little bit more free. It all comes down really to how is ISO going to come out off the gate. Like, with the full squad, back to how it was, they can steal some hard points. They're going to be fine.
And then the Nation Epsilon. Same matchup. Right. Do you look at Miracles again here, or who do you think are the key players in the second match there at 7:30?
I think you have to look at Ricky and Remy.
Ricky and Remy.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big one between ON and Epsilon. You kind of look uplink caps 2.8 for Remy and a 5.2 for Ricky. Like, this is one of the game modes where you'll really see Ricky excel. We don't talk about him that much when we talk about ON. It's Moch, Miracles.
But Ricky's completely changed the type of player he is. I mean, he was like a standstill AR, did not move. And then now he turned into this OBJ player over the last year and a half.
It's kind of crazy to see that
objective work. Yeah.
If you go back and watch Black Ops 2,
right? That's what I was saying.
Ricky,
Riot Shield. You remember that?
Totally different gameplay. He was an innovator. Ricky totally brought out the Riot Shield, made everyone scared. Also a fantastic sniper throughout Black Ops 2.
Destroy. Pulled out the shield. Went
look at even you look back to Black Ops 2, a player like JCap, how different their playstyle is now as well. So a lot of transition from that. Remy. On the other side, like you said, 2.80 uplink caps, Slayer rating 32, hardpoint caps 12. You expect that out of him, going to be putting a ton of pressure on the hill. It'll be interesting to see how he develops that teamwork and chemistry with Parasite. That's going to be important, how they bait and switch with each other.
We'll go deeper into the key player matchups as the tournament is going to be progressing. Tonight, of course, day 1 of the matches. You guys are going to be bringing us all of the action. Yeah, day 1. Fresh start.
Day one, man. Day one.
Just
Premier night of the
11
Pro League.
matches per team.
What he said.
Final standings here. Let's talk about our last matches here. We have 2 matches kicking off at 9 o'clock. We will be covering Optic Nation versus Denial. Is this our best chance of going to a Game 5?
Yes, but it doesn't go there. 4 games to now.
I don't think it is.
3
Yes,
games
but
to
no,
now.
it's
I don't
not.
think. What about
Yes, it
ISO
is,
Epsilon? You don't think that's the most likely to go Game 5?
No.
Ooh.
No, this has
Really?
the best chance, yeah.
I think ISO Epsilon of kind of sloppy play. I think could see a Game 5.
I think somebody just
Denial
gets lucky
ON,
and wins that one 3-0.
3-0. That
Somebody
maybe.
just like,
I think Denial ON. I think Denial takes 3-1.
3-1?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I would say.
I don't think that goes Game 5. If that goes to Game 5, I'll be stunned.
I would like it to go to Game 5. I don't know if Nation can force it there. You look at when Nation went out of the bracket at Gfinity, and it was against a Tier 1 squad in Optic Gaming, and it was not pretty.
It was a 3-0, right?
It was
They got blown out.
pretty rough. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see another 3-0, this time at the hands of Denial, who's very strong at Search, which I think is Optic Nation's greatest strength. It's comeback uplink in the rotation. That's a map that I definitely see ON winning against any team in the league right now.
Even Denial?
They're good.
You think they're that good?
They're really good.
Uplink comeback?
Moch is just a monster, and Ricky Embos
Temp?
and Miracles are
Temp
so
versus
scrappy.
Moch. When it comes down to Temp versus Moch on who's going to get glass control, 9 out of 10 times, I'm putting my money on Temp.
Temp is gonna, yeah, that's not.
Temp
gonna
is
be-
so good.
I can't
so
remember.
Good.
When was the last time you saw Optic Nation lose that game mode?
I mean, they definitely lost it a couple. What didn't they play? Wait, what was the map they played OG?
It's like everybody loses to OG. I wouldn't even take that really.
I mean,
It's like
he
a
asked
loss.
question.
Right.
Just giving you an answer.
Yeah.
they got 3-0 to Gfinity. Like,
Yeah. But I wouldn't, even if they was like the OG or FaZe, like everybody's gonna lose that one. So
Gonna lose
wouldn't really, yeah.
You get
fair.
Wouldn't really.
But ISO Epsilon, for me, I think that one's going to go Game 5.
Isolation Epsilon. That's another 9 o'clock matchup. We'll be keeping our eyes on that. It all comes down to Parasite for me for this Epsilon squad. He's got to be the difference maker because they cannot have a repeat of the pre-Flash season. So
I mean, they can because they're going to be at the finals.
yeah, but that means you play
You're gonna play the
play-in
number 1
match,
seed.
and then you have to face off against the number 1 seed if you get through that.
Oh, it's a
right?
playing match?
Well, I assume you'll have to give 4 teams a bye, right? If you do a bracket.
Yeah.
So then you would have the 8 other teams play in that first round.
Yeah, I guess.
Play-in match.
Playing.
Sorry, round 1. Then if you get to
I
round
was
2,
like,
you'll
what?
play seed 1.
I was like, where are these players?
I don't know why I'm using weird terminology,
Neither
guys.
do we. I'm confused, Chris.
Ignore my face. We're going to a quick commercial break. When we come back on the other side of it, we got our caster predictions. You guys can send in your predictions on Twitter as well. Let us know, who do you think takes the matches tonight? We'll be right back.